What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Life of Mike. Today on the channel, and my wife's laughing at me. Today on the channel, we're going to be unboxing and reviewing a set of NT Fairings for a 2005 CBR600RR. If you tuned in just for the unboxing, that's okay, but you should check out the other videos where I'm rebuilding a 2005 CBR600RR pretty much from the ground up. This thing was in pretty rough shape when I got it, but we're near the end of the build now, so it's gonna start looking like a real bike once I get these fairings on here. So let's go ahead and get the box opened up and see what the fairings are like. If we get up close and personal, we can see here's the windscreen, a little brochure of some other color schemes they offer. Here's the heat shield, and everything appears to be really well packaged. So I'm gonna start opening up just a few of these and we'll compare the gloss from that paint to that paint. So I went ahead and removed everything from the box, and it's not arranged perfectly, but you can get the general idea, at least see how it was packaged. This is my first time ever buying aftermarket fairings. Normally I paint OEM fairings, if possible, even if they're damaged. Check out my RC51 video. If you haven't already, we painted OEM fairings there, but this is a full aftermarket set. I think the first piece I would like to take a look at is gonna be the tank. And it looks like they put a lot of the accessories inside the accessory panels, the matte gray panels inside the tank fairing. So I'm gonna go ahead and separate that out and open up the tank. All right, so this is the biggest and most noticeable part on the bike, probably. And there's little bits of dust on here from the packaging. You can see that just blows right off. But overall, the finish quality is not that bad. I mean, you can see a little bit of orange peel here. But overall, for the amount that I paid, let me set this down so you can get a better look. For the amount that I paid, you know, I'm really happy with the color. The red is really, really clear and crisp, and it's a really glossy finish. I really don't have any complaints. I mean, I think for the money, this is a bargain considering what it costs to get, you know, OEM fairings painted. So, let's go ahead and hold it up next to the Cowie. And here's a metal OEM tank. And can't really compare it to the metal, but if you hold it up next to the plastic, it's pretty darn close. The finish and everything, the gloss, there's a little bit of gloss on an OEM seat cowl and the tail fairing, and comparable finish on this tank. So really happy, and I hope the rest of the panels look just as good. So let's keep unboxing. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm so hyped about these fairings. I wanna start putting stuff on the bike right now. So I'm going to move the ZX10 out of the way. I'm gonna move these fairings, maybe just put them back in the box temporarily so I can make some space. And I think I have some hardware, at least enough to get the tank on there and mounted. So I think that's a good place to start. I don't know if I have everything to mount the headlights in that fairing, but let's just go one thing at a time. I'm pretty excited right now. All right, so I got the Honda all pulled out, ready to go. And I have a diagram here that I got off of, I think it was Partzilla. And I highlighted the parts that I ordered specifically for the tank, and I've got them all pulled out of my box here. There's still some more parts, obviously, that I need to install, but I've got all the parts laid out here that are used for installing the tank, or the tank cover. I have the tank cover right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start fitting this thing up, and we'll see how well the holes line up. And step one is gonna be to take off the seat. So let's go ahead and jump to a time lapse and see how well this tank fits. All right, so I ran into my first snag, not a huge deal. I've been putting in these OEM grommets, and thankfully I was able to steal some old grommets off that because I forgot to order these ones on the side. But you can see this hole here. There's a little bit of material that's overhanging the hole. I don't want to chip the paint really bad, so I got a small little pocket knife, and I'm going to slowly chisel that away, because these tiny little grommets are a pain in the butt to fit through here, and I want to do it the right way, and I want to be careful. So let's go ahead and just chisel that paint away ever so carefully and get the grommet installed. So unfortunately, I don't have enough rubber grommets to cover the whole tank. I'm missing these right here. So unfortunately, I won't be able to fasten down. Well, I could probably do it temporarily, but I'll have to pull it off again, which I will probably do. But in addition to that, I ordered some new mounts here for the fairing, because you can see that they're all rusted out. So I do have these, and that is actually where those holes in the tank line up with. So I would at least like to get these out, get the new ones in, and then we can set the tank on here and fasten down the forward and the back mounting bolts. And I'll just have to order the grommet and the fastener here to secure the tank. So couple parts I'm missing, but I think we can still make some progress tonight. So let's keep going. So setting it on the bike itself went pretty well, and surprise, surprise, I was actually able to find some extra grommets from some of the old parts. The only tricky part I had was, you can see the rubber rubbed a little bit here. There were some tabs that were kind of sticking out from either side of the tank that kind of wanted to push this the seal down with it when I was trying to install the cover. Not a huge deal. I was able to get past that relatively easily. These holes line up pretty well. You can see up here, it'll probably be biased a little bit to one side. These holes are slotted, I think, so you've got a little bit of wiggle room. And then down here, here's the fit on this. I think this will all pull together. It is ABS, I believe, so it's got some flexibility to it, but overall, not a bad fit. I'm really impressed, and I was worried about what this was going to look like, and honestly, it's a really nice seal. It looks really good, and I'm already getting pretty hyped to see the cover on the bike. So I do have the fasteners for the back and the front. I'm trying to think. I know that the tail section comes in, and there's a fairing here that I think may link up with this guy. I got to look at the diagram, but I may just put the fastener in here for now, just to keep, just to, you know, tidy it up for the night. So let's do that, and we'll probably call it a night. All right, I've got the tank fully mounted and the side skirts on as well. I just looked up a video online about whether this was supposed to go over or under. Slips right underneath, and I got a few other little pieces in there as well. Little washer, little bushings. And it looks great. I mean, the fit and finish is excellent. For an aftermarket kit, I'm really happy with how it came out. I'm really tempted to do the tail fairing, but it's really late at night and it's a work night, so I'm probably gonna call it here, but we'll keep the episode going, and I'll just keep working on this tomorrow after work. All right, guys, it is a new day, and I'm pretty excited because NT Fairings actually sent me a ton of bolts, and these well nuts here, these are not cheap. So even though NT Fairings didn't officially sponsor this video, sure feels like a sponsorship. I mean, this is really, really nice of them, and if anyone from NT Fairings is watching this video, thank you so much for doing this for me. I hope that this video represents your company well, because so far the experience with these fairings has been awesome. You can see I've got some grommets here, just a few more little washers and bushings, plastic bushings, things like that. And we've got some more hardware. So what a really nice surprise from NT Fairings. I need to get the ZX10 out of the way, move the box out here, and we'll pull the CBR front and center. But just look at that, the red on the CBR versus the red on the ZX10. All right, I got the CBR centered up in the garage here, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and start in the back of the bike today because I feel pretty confident that I can wire up the new tail light and get the tail section all installed. And I really wanna see what at least getting that end of the bike finished up and clean, what that looks like. So really excited to do that. We'll see what I can do in the front. I was missing these fasteners here, but I did receive, like I said, a bunch of bolts from NT Fairings, so that might help me out there. And I want to figure out how to mount the headlight to the front cowl. So I need to figure that out. The front fender we could probably do. I would like to do the side fairings too. I do have the quarter turn fasteners that go here. Those are specialty. Those did not come in the kit from NT Fairings, so that's something that we will need. I don't know, you know what, let's just go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna grab the parts for the tail light, and the first thing we have to do is mount this piece, which most fairing kits will actually not come with this piece for the tail light. But that's a lot of the reviews I was reading for pretty much any fairing company. It did not include this piece, so probably an improvement that could be made there. But regardless, I got the OEM version. And I have my tail light right here. So I believe you mount the tail light to this, and then you mount this to the tail section. So let's go ahead and get started by mounting this to the tail light. All right, so getting into the unboxing. For anyone looking for this specialty tail light piece, here is the manufacturer number. And this is for an 05 CBR600RR. You can see, I believe the tail light mounts like this. Wires come through here, fasteners come through here, and it mounts to the tail section by these right here. So there's the plastic piece, and here's the integrated tail light that I got. Haven't wired it up yet. Hope it all works, but you can see looks to be in pretty good shape, brand new. And pretty much these wires will fit through here. This will mount up like that, nice and snug, and it'll come out the back of the bike like that. So let's go ahead and do a time lapse, and I'll get this thing put together. I might have to find some nuts to use to fasten this down, but we'll see what I can find. So I went ahead and grabbed some nuts that I found on the broken front fender that I have, and they were a perfect match, so I went ahead and used those. Now, as far as the fit and finish on the aftermarket taillight, you can see there is a gap to the taillight itself, but doesn't really bother me that much, and it's going to be sitting pretty low and just over the exhaust, so probably won't see it too much. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, but overall, I like the look of the light itself. So let's go ahead and look up the wiring diagram for this. I can't remember the colors, what means what, but it does have what appears to be something like a factory connector here on the bottom, so we could probably reuse that. But I'm going to go ahead and grab the tail section, and we will do our best to mount this into the tail section. All right, let's check out the finish on this guy. See how it compares to the tank. Looks like it's packaged really well. There we go. All right. Looks to be in pretty good shape. Pretty clean. A few little mold tab marks where it came out of the mold. But overall, pretty good shape. A few little hairs and dust on it, but again, I continue to be very impressed with the quality of these fairings, and I think they'll be my manufacturer of choice from here on out for future projects. So for anyone looking for NT Fairings, link in the description below. All right, so first thing I gotta do, I have to install the little vents. There's some vents in here. They probably get installed with a couple of screws. You can see the screw mounts here. Looks like the mounts are in good shape. They're both there. Yep, so now we just have to see how well the fins themselves align, and we'll start with that. And then this is where the tail light fits into. Here are the mounting holes for the tail light itself. So it appears that all the tabs I need, at least thus far, are here. Gonna go ahead and jump to a time lapse, and we'll get the vents installed, and we'll get the tail light installed as well. Tail section ready to go. Now the bolt kit didn't come with everything that I needed. It did come with the right thread size, but I actually had to go in my garage and find a length bolt that wouldn't blow through the side of the tail section. So I'm not sure if you can see that. Trying to get behind the camera here. But this fastener right here, I had to get 2 of those out of my own supply. And then also the little vents here. I used a little nylon washer with a countersunk screw that I actually took from an old ceiling fan cap right over there. I had a couple spares that I could use, so they were short enough. That was the thing. You don't want to blow through the other side of your tail section. You got to be careful about that. But same deal over on this side. I used another 2 right there. And as far as the overall look, you can see there's a little bit of just uneven cutting that happened up in here. A little bit of that on this side as well. Let's see if I can get it on camera. Maybe this way would be better. There you go. Now you can see that the cut is just a little, it's not trimmed perfectly. There's a few little ridges here, but honestly, for the money, doesn't bother me one bit. I think altogether it looks great, and when it's on the bike, you won't even know unless I point it out. So I really like the way that the smoked integrated taillight looks. I think that came out great. Again, a little uneven trim there. I could probably try to touch that up with my razor blade. The probability of me making it worse is probably a lot higher, so I don't think I'll touch it. Instead, I'm going to look up the wiring diagram for this, and we'll go ahead and get it situated on the bike and get it ready to be mounted. Okay, so I did a quick wiring test, and I put the blue cable coming off the integrated tail to the blue connector and the yellow to the orange. And actually this is for your LED, which I don't have hooked up at the moment. But this here is for the main power for the light. So this is the turn signal inputs. So let's do a quick test and see if I got the colors right or if I got them reversed. So it looks like the running light is on, which is good. Let's go ahead and grab the brake. See if it gets brighter. It does. Front brake. And let's see if I can do rear brake as well. Rear brake works. Excellent. Now I'm going to do left turn signal. Oops, looks like I got it reversed. And let's go right turn signal. Yep, so I just got them reversed. I would have thought blue would go with the blue wire and orange with yellow, but why do they gotta make it difficult? So anybody who buys one of these integrated taillight kits on eBay, now you know. But I am not going to take the time to pull the wires out and match the colors to the connectors. So I'm just gonna flip the connectors around and switch them up, and we should be good to go. I am really happy with how this tail section turned out. Everything fit together really nicely, everything lined up. I was able to use the fasteners from the bolt kit provided by NT Fairings. And overall, man, the look is just awesome, especially with this integrated smoked out tail light. I think that was an excellent choice. And just the red in general was awesome. And it helped to watch some videos of the fairings being taken on and off by other folks on YouTube. That was a big help when it came to the order of operations for putting all these fairings together. So with that being said, I think I'm going to do the passenger seat cowl next, and then I'm going to put the seat back on, and that's going to be it for tonight. And the next thing we'll do is probably work on the front cowl and the headlights. That will probably be in the next episode. So for now, let's go ahead and get the seat cowl on, the seat mounted, and then we'll finish up the episode. So I want to actually compare the OEM seat cowl, or at least the seat cowl that came with the bike, to the one that I got from NT Fairings. So you can see this is the one that came with the bike. It's in pretty rough shape. Looks like he took quite a spill, he or she. But what you'll notice are there are some fasteners here, 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 and here, and probably some inserts beneath that. Because if we grab our NT fairing, you'll notice that there are no fasteners here. And again, this is a good reason to purchase or request the bolt kit, because otherwise you'll be looking for the hardware to install this. So I'm actually going to take the hardware from the OEM setup and see, I'm actually curious to see if what's underneath this came with the bolt kit. So I'll fill you in on that, but let's go ahead and take apart the OEM kit and put that hardware over here. All right, so I ended up reusing the hardware from the OEM kit, and obviously we've got this nice little bumper pad here that came with the kit from NT Fairings. So it does benefit to have some of the old parts, even if the bike was crashed. So be careful about throwing that stuff away if you are intending, or even if you're intending to get a new fairing kit, because sometimes it's nice just to reuse that. There were some similar parts in the bolt kit, but I like using OEM wherever possible. So let's go ahead and see how this fits on the bike. And there is some adjustment, so if you need to slide this one way or the other to get a better alignment with the tail section, that is doable, so you can still adjust it after the fact. See the fit. All right, it looks a little biased to the right side, so we could probably adjust that a little bit to shift things to the left side, which would be the right side if it was upside down. But overall, not a terrible fit, but not perfect. So let's see if we can fix some of that with a little bit of adjustment. So also, after taking a little bit of a closer look at the cowling, you can see there's a little bit of a paint run here. And again, the shadows have to be just right in order to see it. A little disappointing, but if you have a passenger seat, you would only be using this whenever you're not carrying a passenger. So overall, not too terrible, a little disappointing, but it's to be expected. If it has to happen on any part, I would pick the seat cowl. So I went ahead and adjusted it. Let's see how it fits. So it's not bad. It's a little bit tighter over here. You can see a lot tighter of a gap here than there is over here. And honestly, I'm wondering if that's because of my adjustment or if it's because of the base. So I'm gonna try something I normally wouldn't do. I actually really care about how the gap looks here. So I'm going to use the OEM base on the aftermarket cowl, and I want to see if that looks any better. And worst case scenario, I just waste about 15 minutes taking them on and off. So let's use the factory base with the aftermarket cowl. Okay, so after some shimming, I was able to get a little bit more of a uniform gap. No matter what I did, just the shape and the twist from the mold of the seat cowl itself would not allow me to close the gap anymore on that side. So the only thing I could do was to shim the other side there to raise it up to be at the same height or as close as possible to the other side. So I think that's an acceptable gap for me for an aftermarket body kit. As you can see, the entire thing is kind of angled down a little bit. So maybe I should do some shimming in the back too. You know what? Let's shim the back as well, because we could probably, since we fixed the gap here, we could probably shim back here to raise this up to get an even better gap. So let's do one more round of shimming and see how it looks. All right, now that I've let my OCD take over, I think I've got the gap exactly how I like it. Again, not perfectly perfect coming across, but a lot better than what we started with. But just following the gap all the way around, looks a lot more uniform. This is the power of shimming, people. Do not be afraid to shim. And just like that, an aftermarket seat cowl that fit horribly in the beginning fits much better and looks a lot better. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and lock everything down, and we'll put the main rider seat on, and I think we'll call it a night. All right, guys, so there you have it. We're really making some progress on this 2005 CBR600RR. I am really hyped about the way that it's looking. Really happy that I went with the red. It definitely pops. I love having two red bikes in the garage. Now you can see there's a little bit of a difference between the red on the CBR and the red on the ZX. The red on the ZX looks a little bit deeper. This looks more like a bright, almost orangey red. But definitely looks like Honda red. Really happy with how it all came out. I'm liking the little black accents that we've got. Even the little accents in the tail section make all the difference. So really excited. Probably going to be doing the front cowl next. That's next on the agenda. A lot of stuff that I have to put up there. The ductwork, the headlights, a few little accent pieces here for the ignition. Anyways, that's for another video. Thanks for checking out the channel. Stay tuned for the next episode when we put this thing back together. Peace.